What was Han Solo's secret base, and what was so special about this cloud giant bunker? It's common knowledge and perhaps a logical conclusion that smugglers of the galaxy were well versed in the Outer Rim territories. Often used as a hideaway, the planets within these far reaches of space were home to many things. For Han Solo, the infamous smuggler turned rebel, one of these destinations happened to be on a cloud giant in the Monsua Nebula. This particular location was a well-hidden secret known only by Han's counterpart, Chewbacca. But could it help the charming mercenary and his princess companion evade an incoming fleet of Imperial starships? After the destruction of the Death Star, and well before the Battle of Hoth, Leia and Han Solo were alone on a mission. Solo had brought Princess Leia into a situation that would become synonymous with the smuggler in the years to come, a desperate attempt to outmaneuver enemy craft. The pair had been searching for a remote location, a new planet to house the Rebel Alliance, out of the way of Imperial detection, yet not too remote. While searching, they had attracted the attention of enemy TIE fighters, which meant a colossal Star Destroyer would be close behind. As Han abruptly took control of their stolen enemy ship, the shuttle Invictus, Han knew he was inviting trouble from the TIE fighters. Yet, he had a plan. Well, the plan came later. As they dodged enemy fire, Han realized he was closer to safety than he thought, and more helpful to the situation than Leia would believe. In the midst of enemy fire, Han realized he was close to a familiar planet. Surrounded by electrical superstorms, the cloud giant was incredibly dangerous to enter, but just as dangerous for TIE fighters to pursue into. It would take a very skilled pilot to navigate a landing, and luckily for Leia, she was flying with one. After a surprisingly smooth landing, the Allies made it onto the surface, greeted by an oasis of pink, red, and green hues all through the stormy sky. Leia was dumbfounded. It was a moment that Han could justifiably be cocky. Once the dust of their risky landing had settled, they were in incredibly peaceful surroundings. In classic smuggler fashion, Han had only discovered the gas giant after crash landing into it. A smuggler's only as good as his hiding places. He reminded the princess with bravado, showing off how capably he was able to evade the Imperials. As Leia and Han made their way through the landscape, they precariously trekked across a moss-covered branch, framed by a babbling brook and waterfalls on each side, surrounded by beautiful pink foliage. It could only be assumed what Han used this hideaway for in his storied past. Yet when coming across a bottle of Corellian wine, he remained uncharacteristically quiet. In a rare moment of reflection, he may just have a deeper connection to this beautiful gas giant than he initially let on. However, as with any place from the past, this gas giant had its darker corners. In a distinct contrast to the never-ending beauty surrounding their landing, Han and Leia's entry into one of the planet's caves saw a deeper side come from Han. Under a hue of blue and purple light, the smuggler rifled through many crates and boxes, hunting for things only he, and perhaps Chewbacca, knew were there. The deeper they traveled into the cave, the deeper they traveled into Han's silent memories. The gas giant clearly had a lot of importance to him. Outside, their stolen Imperial spacecraft looked incredibly out of place among the natural, great beauty of the sweeping vistas the planet displayed. Yet it stripped away any imposing nature the once enemy craft would carry on any other environment. Even when Han's alleged estranged wife, Sana, ambushed Leia and Han on the planet, the shocking revelations and explosions of anger were hard to take seriously, as the tranquil vistas surrounding them did more to calm the situation than aggravate it. Yet it was rather telling that Sana tracked him down to the supposed super-secret hideaway. Suddenly, the Corellian wine, moments of contemplating silence, and almost romantic scenery made sense. The gas giant held a lot of special memories from a past life of Han's. Suddenly, the calming surroundings quickly adapted to ensuing gunfire. The TIE fighters were daring to land on the planet. The fire and destruction seen alighting the skies from the TIE fighter blaster fire ended up swirling into the pink sky, matching its fiery red with the atmosphere. It was almost as if any destruction that happened to the planet would simply add to its beauty, which among some vistas was jagged and imperfect. Yet the atmosphere remained slightly romantic amidst the gunfire. It had its own special aura. Whether it would be the future home of the Rebel Alliance would remain to be seen. It was far out of the way enough to avoid detection. And although protected by terrifying electrical storms, now, thanks to Solo, at least one adversary had discovered it. Though no easy task for the TIE fighters to make it through the storms, with a number lost on the way, it was an impending notion that the Empire would soon adapt to the new treacherous Allied territory. And though this violence may be on the horizon for the gas giant, its calming surroundings and tranquil vistas would not believe it. What the planet could mean, and possibly what other romantic escapades could ensue there, was unwritten. Yet it made one thing clear: one that the struggling rebels needed to keep in mind at the time. Sometimes it takes great hardship to get to beauty.